Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I'm going to solve problem 2349, which is a design problem. So in this problem, they ask you to design a number container system, and this is also a medium level. So here's the problem. So basically, you guys gonna need to design a number container system that can have two methods. The first method is to insert a number to a specific index, and the second one is just to find the smallest index of a particular number. So let's have a look at the example. Okay, so we're gonna have this one. So basically, we have a constructor here. So because we are having the index thing, we are having the index stuff, and we have to find things. So I think it's best to represent this one in just an index. I'm not going to say that we are going to use array to be the main data structure for this one. I'm just using an array to visualize for you guys. Okay, 7 8. Okay, so firstly, after construct the object, what we can do is just find a 10. They find the 10. So with the find here, we'll find the smallest index of number 10. So because 10, there are no number in this data structure, so we're just going to return -1, which is here. It's pretty straightforward. Next is the change. So the change is like an insert or replace. So they ask you to insert number 10 to the index 2. So here we're gonna put a 10 to the index 2, and then a 10 again in the index 1. Okay, and then a 10 again in the index 3, a 10 again in the index 5. Okay, and then they ask you to find the number 5. I mean, to find the number 10 again. So you're gonna have to return a smaller index. So it's gonna be here. So it's gonna return 1, right? Oh, wait. Okay, so return 1. Okay, perfect. Next, we're gonna do what is that we're going to insert 20 to position 1. So the insert is basically, if there is a number there, you can just directly remove that, and then you can put that number inside that position. It's gonna be 20 here. Okay, so next you're gonna ask to find number 10 again. So now 10, we do not have a 10 at the index 1 in the past. So now we only have 1 in the second index. We're gonna return a 2. Perfect. Okay. So basically, this is the problem. If you guys, and at first when I have a look at this problem, I have a feeling like, what's this kind of feel like an easy problem? It's not really a medium problem. But here's the tricky thing. The intuition for this problem is not very, I would say, normal, but it's still very easy if you guys have worked with a database before. If you guys have designed a database before, you guys gotta know that the relationship between the index and the number is that, just like you guys gonna see that one index can only have one number, right? But a number can have multiple index. So that's the thing. So you guys gonna feel like this one is a one-to-many relationship when we design the database. So when we design the database, we know that there's one-to-many. You guys gonna have two tables, right? The first one is just to, we have two tables. Table 1 is the one that you guys gonna use to store from each index. From the to store the one-on-one relation. No, not really one-on-one relation. So basically, in this case, it could be like the table 1 is gonna be index, and then a number, right? And the table 2 is gonna be something like this. If you guys have worked with the ORM and you guys have already designed a database before, you guys gotta know that you gotta have a number and then a lot of index here. So the relationship is just simply like this one. If you guys have worked with a database before, the intuition is pretty natural, but for some who haven't worked before, you guys gonna think of a for loop. But trust me, that is not a very good approach, because you guys have to handle a lot of edge cases, and that's it. So the key problem is that we're gonna use the hash map, and you guys are gonna have to know a little bit about a set as well. So the reason why I mean set is that Oh, let me write back something here. So we're gonna have a table 1. So table 1 would be from each index we will find a number, and the table 2 is that from each number we will have a list of the index, right? List on array. This is pretty much the same. So here's the thing, the reason why I mentioned the list is here. So if you guys remember, we have a method, that is a find method. Oh, this color is not very easy to see. Just right. Okay, so we have a find method here. So the find method is gonna be to return the smallest index of a number, right? So if this list of this index hasn't been sorted, so every time you guys want to find the smallest index of this number, you guys have to do at least O(n) time to find the smallest index, that you guys have to iterate or traverse the whole data structure to find the smallest index. So if this one is already sorted, you guys just need to take the first element out of that. And this is the only tricky part of this problem. I mean, this is not very tricky, but when you guys have done enough problems with the database, when you guys have done enough problem with the designing problem, you guys gonna have this intuition that whenever you guys see a one-to-many relationship, you guys gonna know that we're gonna need at one table. So from one table, we're gonna have to point to another thing, and another thing to point to a list of the many. So and that's it. That's how we can solve this problem. And now I'm gonna give you guys the code for that. It's very easy, believe me, guys. I'm gonna insert it here. Okay. All right. So here's the code for this problem. So basically, as I have mentioned before, we're gonna need two tables, and we're gonna use a map here to be the data to be the table. So the first map is gonna store the index. We're gonna retrieve the index, and then we can find the number. And then in the second one is that you guys gonna need a number, and then return the list of the index. Okay, so as you can see in the first method, it's pretty this is the thing that I forgot to tell you guys. That is, actually in the insert method is pretty more complicated than what you guys think. So some of people just only do those two lines, but they forgot to do this one. So I'm gonna explain this one. So basically we're gonna have an array here. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay, so this one is 6. So let me put some number here as well. 10, 10, 10, 20, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then 20 again. So from this array, you guys gonna have those table. So the first one is the table from index to the number. So the first table, you guys can absolutely see this is also the array, so we don't have to write it out. And the second one is the table that we store from a number to a list of index. So first one, we gotta have a number one here. So from number 1, we're gonna have two index, which is the index 1 and the index 8. But next is the 10, I mean number 2. So from number 2, we're gonna have only 7 here. From 10, we're gonna have, from 3. Actually, it doesn't have to be in a sorted order, but I just want to write it here so it's more clear. And it's 6 here. And then from 10 and 20, so we just put 10. So we're gonna have like 2, 3, and 4. And then 20 is gonna be 0. All right, so here's our current state. And now what I'm gonna ask you guys to do is just to insert number 20 to the index 2. So what it's gonna do is that we're gonna delete this one and replace this with 20. So here's the thing, if you guys only do this line, you guys gonna see that when you guys put a 20 to 10, what you guys go with that, which you guys just that firstly, if you guys only do those lines, the first thing you guys do is just to elite number 10 and then put it 20 there, and then the next is you guys just insert 20 to the, insert the index 1 to the list of 20. So index 2, sorry you guys. So put it here. So you guys gonna see this conflict here. The 2 in a 10 and the 2 here is still there. So here's the thing: if you guys find the smallest index of number 10, you guys gonna still return a number 2 here, because you guys forgot to delete that, and that is very important. So basically, what we have to do is that we have to find the number at that particular index. So basically, the first line is just to find the number at that particular index. It's gonna be 10. So we put the 10 in a temporary variable. And then next we're gonna do is that we have to erase the index in that list. So from here we have to delete 2 out. So we're gonna left with 3 and 4. Okay, so I'm gonna it's gonna be more complicated. Okay, so I'm gonna move it here, and then what you guys can do next is just to delete 10 and then put 20 directly there, so it would not cause any problem. So in summary, what you guys have to do is that firstly you guys have to delete the relationship in those two, and then you guys can insert a new one. That's the only part that you guys need to notice. And the second one is just pretty simple. If there's no number already, just return a -1, and you guys just need to return the first number in the list. This is just some kind of a C++ syntax. If you guys use Java or Python, you guys just have to maintain a sorted order list, and then just return the first number in that data structure, and that's it. That's how we can solve this problem. It's just pretty simple, but it's just tricky because you guys have to know a little bit of how you guys can know a little bit of the database design, so you guys can work better. Yep, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. See you guys again in my other video.